It's April in Minnesota and it's snowing outside. But the 70-degree days that came before this have melted the lake, warmed the ground, so the snow will only stick for a few days. The earth has to remind us what spring feels like, otherwise no one would live here. I sit and drink my English breakfast tea, 3 sugar cubes, milk, tea bag steeped until the color is right. Because recently, coffee makes me feel like there are pop rocks in my stomach. It's May in Morocco and it's 102 degrees outside at 11 a.m. It'll only get worse from here. I sit and eat my lentils. Mist from the ceiling tries to give a little relief from the all-encompassing dry air. The mist will land in my lentils, and a small particle invisible to the eye will make me throw up in the aisle of a plane the next day, and will cause the pop rocks in my stomach, and will make me question every bite of food I take for the next year. It's March in Ukraine, and a girl wanders around Chernobyl and writes, "I wanted to see what the end of the world looked like from the vantage of its aftermath." It's February in Norway, and the Svalbard Global Seed Vault has just opened. A tunnel going 150 meters into the side of a mountain with a capacity to hold 4.5 million seed samples. It's nicknamed the Doomsday Vault. Our generation is certain we will see the end of the world, and it affects us accordingly. It's February in California, and all students have been kicked off campus. My throat hurts. I read the headlines and wonder if one of those small particles, invisible to the eye, has landed in my nasal cavity, or if it's just the crushing anxiety of not knowing that's pushing on my chest and constricting my throat until I get lightheaded and dizzy. Over the past week, I've fallen off my bike twice. The second time, I fractured my elbow. When Kelsey saw me in a splint the next day, she said, "Often a broken bone is an invitation for internal reflection." It's December in Minnesota and it's snowing outside. I return to the smell of cigarette smoke and the constant hum of drug commercials on TV, just loud enough so I can't tune it out. Side effects may include nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, dizziness, or heart attack. The back of my throat hurts from the endoscopy. They're looking for the pop rocks. My heart became tachycardic, meaning that my heart started to beat at the speed my thoughts were racing. So they gave me double the normal amount of medication. I'm supposed to board a plane at 6 a.m. tomorrow to visit Omar in Mexico, but I can't stop floating. This is the stillest my mind has been in a long time. It's 12:01 on January 1st in Mexico. Our New Year's lanterns won't light this year because it's too windy and the flimsy paper keeps ripping. Seems like a sign. Omar's dad is yelling because anything is solvable with enough brute force, but maybe he was just scared. I brought the clouds with me. The day I landed, it started raining. Maybe it's the clouds in my brain left over from the meds. Someone died. It's January 31st in California, and this is how I woke up, with the startled face of a boy who just found out his housemate had died, in the bathroom 2 doors down from our room. Over the next week, we would receive 3 emails titled Dangerous Counterfeit Drugs, warning us about the little blue pills stamped with an M and the number 30 that contain fentanyl. Now, with every bite of food and sip of water, I wonder which small particle invisible to the eye will be poisoning me today. The moon landing is to boomers as the Challenger explosion is to millennials. Their faith has turned into our distrust, their expansion into our mess. Maybe growth should no longer be the measurement of success. I can't eat as much anymore, but maybe that's for the best. I try not to be happy about the 15 pounds I've lost. Toilet paper and guns and active dry yeast. It's April in Minnesota, and a small particle invisible to the eye seems to have split the world into 3. Those who make, those who annihilate, and those who take. Or maybe those who connect, those who detach, and those who are stuck in between. What do you cling to when the world is ending? I've been baking and doing my best to connect to a bruised earth that is begging us to slow down and listen. My mom says to stop making value judgments, but I can't help but feel we need more bakers in the world right now than gun shooters and toilet paper hoarders. It's April in Minnesota, and everything is varying shades of brown and tan. It's the color I wait to see when I steep my English breakfast tea. That's how I know it's right. If you look close enough, you can see tiny green buds on the brown branches, but only if you are close enough. Otherwise, they are simply small particles invisible to the eye. This is the stillest my mind has been in a long time.